She's a TV host. She's an entrepreneur.
I've raised 3 children from 3 different generations. I seem very relaxed, but I'm explosive.
How do you find the time?
I work day and night. I wanted more praise when I was young. It just like bullied me. It's like,
Yeah.
pick it. Ah!
What makes you happy?
I made the #1 female show. Just wasn't enough anymore. Joelle, I don't have a mom. You're my internet mom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's show of The Inside Track with me, Luca Allam. I'm delighted to welcome Joelle Mardinian. She's a TV host, she's an entrepreneur, and she's just a fantastic all-round person. Joelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So let's start with what you've got in front of you. What's going on here?
Yeah, this is the name of my podcast.
Okay.
Actually, this was a gift to you, so I'm using it. This came with chocolates inside.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's my podcast. It means in English, from Joelle's heart.
Very nice.
Because the topics are topics that I've been wanting to discuss with my audience for 19 years and never had the chance because the topics were a bit daring. And I think all the platforms were scared of the backlash of such topics because specifically 2 of the episodes, I've never ever heard them discussed on any radio, on any TV show, in any magazine, literally nowhere. And even before I started my podcast, I was talking to someone who's in this industry, in the podcast industry. And she's someone, and I said she, so she might know who she is now. And she's someone who's actually very well connected and she does a bit of PR and marketing and all of this. And she said, oh, no, Joelle, don't do that. Don't talk about those topics. That's gonna,
So you've been wanting to do this for 19 years, have your own podcast. You've been bottling up all these different topics.
I didn't necessarily want to do a podcast, but I wanted to shine the light on important topics that we ignore in this region. Especially that you will understand what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Living in the UK for 14 years and growing up in the UK, I was 13 when I first moved to the UK. I went to school, did college, university, my first job, into jobs, my first marriage, my first son. Yeah. So I grew up in the UK, the most important years that actually were my foundations, if you want to say. Yeah. And what I used to hear on television, the things we discussed amongst friends was so different to what we hear on television, on our local television, and what we discuss as friends. Yeah. And a lot of the topics that are so important for us to discuss are ignored by our society because no one talks about them.
Well, we can talk about them today. We can talk about all kinds of things.
We can talk about all of it. And but I was so scared. Yeah. The next day after my podcast came out, I was in floods of tears. The relief. I thought, this could be the end of my career.
Really?
Yeah, some people made me feel that way. They made me feel that I was taking such a huge risk. But my belief on the inside that I'm doing the right thing just kept me going and gave me that power to just, talk about how to talk about sex with your children. Yeah.
Look, we're going to come back to this inner power that you have. We're going to circle back to it. But just sort of explain for those who don't live on this earth, what do you do for a living? Because you seem to have quite a lot of things going on, and you seem to be very successful at doing each and every one of them. So talk to me a little bit about what it is that you do. If someone was to ask you, because I struggle with this, how do I introduce you to the show? Okay. It's not easy.
No.
So talk to me about that.
Okay, first of all, let's just say the most important thing for me is being a mom, and I'm a very proud mom. So if I want to say what am I the most proud of is the mom that I am, because I'm a really good mom. I've raised 3 children from 3 different generations, which is not easy. So I have a 21-year-old. Wow. And he's amazing.
Can we just say, 21-year-old?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Seriously.
He's 21 and he's doing English literature in London. And King's College gave him a discounted rate just so they can win him at their uni. He was accepted by every single university he applied to.
Smart boy, huh?
He's a smart boy. I always say, like, I imagine always like an invisible crown on top of his head. I feel like he belongs to the royal family. He's not my son. He's just too good to be true. He's an angel. He's polite. He's charming. He's super smart. My daughter is incredible, Ella. I see myself in her. She's reminding me of every stage of my childhood. Every year, I was like, oh my God, I've forgotten that I was like that. And I see it in her. She's very shy, but she's strong. Yeah. She's very sensitive, but if you scratch the surface, she will turn into a tiger suddenly. Yeah. And I see now...
Where does she get that from?
She gets it from me. Okay. And I'm very shy, so I don't like events. I don't like socializing. I don't like to walk into restaurants when they're full. I don't look at tables. I don't look at who's sitting on the tables.
But Joelle, that's surprising, given what you do.
Yes, because I stare into cameras. They're plastic, so I don't see the audience. Yeah. So it's very hard for me at the very beginning when I was ambassador of big, huge brands. Yeah. They used to ask me to go on stage sometimes and literally address an audience of 500 people or more. Oh my God, I used to always say, I'm never going to do it. No matter how much they pay me, I'm just not doing this again. With time, I am 47, and I like to say I'm 47. I like to say my age, because I couldn't have achieved what I've achieved if I was younger. Come on, let's just face it. Yeah. And also, many things why I like to say my age, because when I first came to Dubai, I was 28 years old.
So was I. Good age.
Yeah, really.
Good age.
But I remember people telling me, your shelf life is short because they're going to replace you with a more beautiful, younger presenter. So I'm proving them wrong. I'm still on television.
I think you've done that and then some, to be honest with you. Right?
Yeah. Crazy. So I'm so happy that this region, the mindset is changing. Yeah. And I want to be part of that change. Not in this particular thing, that you can age and still be on television and still be someone who's liked and adored and people want to see more of you. Yeah. But in other things, like the topics I talk about in my podcast, Min Al Joelle, topics that also we're ignoring, but that change needs to happen.
So my question was, what do you do what you do? And
what do I do?
So the first thing that you said was you're a mom.
I'm an amazing mom.
So obviously this is the most important thing to you.
Yes.
So you strip away everything else.
How to raise
children. The TV show, starting up businesses, none of that matters when it compares to
those.
Being a mom.
I see them as projects. But I see that what is the most important role that I have to present whilst I'm alive is to be a good mom, is to raise 3 children, to be amazing people, humans, for them to inspire, their generation and the future generations. Yeah. So I want my kids to be awesome and amazing, and I have my way of doing it. I seem very relaxed because I force myself to be in a relaxed state even when I'm not on the inside, but I'm explosive. Yeah. So
bubbling underneath the surface.
So I really give my kids so much attention. But if they do wrong, it's, of course, no hitting. And I don't do punishment, by the way. I've never punished any of them. But it's like, no. And it's like the tone changes. And they know that, that whatever they've done is upsetting.
Do you do that thing where you call them by their first name? Or even their second name, or even their family name? So it's that whole, I used to get it all the time.
Really?
Yeah, when I was naughty. Luca Allam, do this.
Oh, no,
don't do this. I used to get that all the time from my parents.
No, it's more of it when it's in a part of the conversation. Okay. And that, my mom used to blame me with my eldest son. She used to say to me, you scare him. I was like, I've never punished him. I've never laid a hand on him. Yeah. And then I realized I don't scare him. He has so much respect for me because I praise him all the time. So he doesn't like it when I'm upset, when he feels he's done wrong. And that upsets all 3 of them. Okay. So my kids will, even the youngest one, Nathan, was going to, mommy, I'm sorry, mommy. But I haven't done anything. And I actually don't want that reaction from him. Yeah. I didn't even get that angry. Yeah. But I think because I praise them so much and I'm there for them so much that they don't want to see anything negative from me towards them. So they don't want to see any disappointment from me towards them. And that is enough.
And it's powerful as well, because you
So
know,
powerful.
you have so much almost influence over them because
Yeah.
of how you've treated them, that any small thing they're so worried about being
Yes.
able to upset you,
Yes.
that almost they self-regulate, they
Yes,
they
do.
self-parent almost.
Yeah,
right?
they do. I've never had to go beyond just showing that that's it, enough's enough, and you're not doing that, and that's not acceptable.
Look-
and I explain a lot. I give a lot. But
I can see that.
career-wise,
I can see that. Yeah.
career-wise, right now, what I'm doing is I'm still hosting, but now it's not really hosting. It's a reality show. And it's the first time that it's being done in the Arab world. That's been going on for the last 2 years. But before that, I was hosting 2 TV shows. The first one had many names, but it was the same show. But it's the longest reigning makeover show in the world.
Still to this day?
It stopped after 14 years.
Okay, wow.
But in the UK, I think it stayed for 7. In the US for 10.
Which is amazing in those markets.
14 consecutive. Never had a break off the screen. And throughout, since 2004 till today, I managed to open Maison de Joelle. It's beauty salons. Yep. Today I have 13. And they're from UAE, Saudi, Qatar, Algeria, Iraq, Erbil, Jordan, Egypt. We're everywhere. Yeah. And then I opened clinics. So with plastic surgeons, dermatologists, dentists, and doctors, professionals. Today we have 9. And
you know what my first question is? Sorry to interrupt. You know what my first question is? Like, how do you find the time?
I don't. I work day and night, and this is. I'm not just saying that. It's like, you know, like when you look at the calendar, and sometimes I ask my PA. I say, you know, like, treat me like a human. Yeah. Like, try to. The first thing when I'm trying to employ a PA, I say to her, "Can you give me my vitamins every day? Can you order food for me?" And then that disappears after the first 2 weeks, because she also realizes she doesn't also eat. We're so like running from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another. I wake up in the morning, the first thing I reach before my coffee, I reach for my mobile. It starts with WhatsApp, then emails, Instagram. I need to post every hour. And I'm the one that controls my Instagram. Wow. Yeah. I think I checked it yesterday, 250 million impressions this month, in 1 month. But to have that, and why do I need that? So if I wasn't using Instagram to boost my business, I don't even have Facebook. So I have a fan page on Facebook.
Well, that itself is a full-time job, right?
It's a full-time. That's more than full-time.
Just social posting is a full-time job.
So I'm never in the car looking. So I still get lost in Dubai. If I'm driving, I still have to put the GPS. Yeah. I can't go anywhere. I can't even go from my house to my mom's house. I swear to God, I cannot. Because I'm never focused on the road. I'm always on the phone. So You've
got to be very careful.
No, not when I'm driving. I say when I'm not driving. When I'm driving, it's the GPS, that takes me everywhere, because I don't know where I am half the time.
Look, before we dig any deeper, I do this on the show, right? Before I get into sort of the weeds and understand a little bit more, I give the guests a chance with a safe word. So if there's a question that I ask that they are not super comfortable with answering, they have a chance to say whatever their safe word is. Do you have a safe word in mind?
Luca, I'm not going to give you a word, a safe word, because there's nothing that I'll run away from. Honestly, there's absolutely nothing. You can ask me anything you want, anything about anything.
What did you have for lunch?
Oh, I had steak. You see? No, but honestly, you can ask me like the most intimate, personal. I don't want to run away from any question. And that's just a very British attitude, isn't it? I mean, I grew up on Richard and Judy. Yeah. She's an alcoholic. Yeah. He's, I don't know how many years younger than her. Yeah. They discuss, they fight on the screen. They talk about their kids. And that was so
But
normal.
it somehow worked, didn't it? I mean, it was dysfunctional as you like, but actually it worked.
Amazing. It worked. And even the biggest stars, they're so down to earth. All the British stars are so down to earth. I always say, we never know how much money they have. Look at... Right? Yeah. All the British celebrities, from Hugh Grant to the what's his name, Victoria Beckham and David Beckham, anyone. UK attitude is not about showing off. It's about being real. And you get smacked in the face if you're not real.
Very true.
The media, the British media will not accept
If you're
you.
not authentic, they'll see
Oh my
straight
God.
through you.
Of course.
And they'll hang you out to dry.
Exactly.
I think it's the hardest. Sorry, I didn't try. It's the toughest. They're the most critical people in the world. The British tabloids. So
yes,
if you can make it in the UK as a celebrity, I think you can make it pretty much anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Even the Americans, they run away from the UK.
They're so transparent. It's crazy. The things they say. And so I grew up in my home in Lebanon, not being allowed to ever lie. Not even there's no such thing as a white lie. You know, like, oh, there's one. No. So we grew up, no lies. And they used to tell us in school, we can read it on your forehead if you lie. So it was like, they can see, I cannot lie.
And that's why you started launching makeup.
I swear to God. Yeah.
Botox forever. Beautiful. I love it. There's no way you can show it. Look, I really appreciate the fact that you're opening up. You're not going to give a safe word. You probably wouldn't have to use it anyway.
No.
But no, I appreciate that. One question I do also ask is because I work in advertising, I work in marketing. I always ask my guests, is there a particular brand out there that they love and why? You know, what is it about their brand that they particularly love?
Yeah, I love all the brands that I worked with. I was the face of. I've always dug deep into their history. I enjoyed where they came from, their beginnings. I believed in every single brand. I mean, can I mention them?
Yeah? Go for it.
So I was the regional creative director for Max Factor. I used to know every single name of every foundation, lip liner, lipstick, gloss. For 10 years, I never used anything else. There were other makeup artists, like the makeup artists that represented England or Italy. So we used to meet in global conferences. And I used to be so surprised that they didn't really use Max Factor. They only used it in the shoot. And I felt like, wow, what a lie. How can you do that? How can you just in the shoot use the brand, but when you don't love it in reality?
Going back to your point about being real, right?
Yeah. So I also worked with Dyson, and I used to swear by Dyson. I was brand ambassador for Evian. Again, when I went to Evian, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. Like I remember saying, we stood where the rain would fall on the ground, and where we stood, it will take 15 years for those droplets of water to reach where the water comes out from. And it's one source. So all the water we drink comes from one source. And it's 15 years of, being filtered through all the stones and blah, 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 to reach in the end to have mineral water. And I've become like such an advocate, and I want to fight their fight. So I want to tell people that drinking zero water with no minerals is so bad. Because when we sweat, we don't just sweat water, we sweat water with minerals. So we need to replace that. So I become so passionate about the brands.
Honestly, this conversation since it started, the word I would describe most about you is passionate. You come across as one of the most passionate people I've ever met, and it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Can I ask you?
Thank you.
Where does this come from?
I don't know. I ask myself this question many times, especially when I'm very tired, especially when I feel like I don't ever feel like I want to give up. So I need to, I question myself all the time about so many different things. Why I'm so tough on myself? Why can't I live a normal life? Because I want to be lying on the beach. We live in Dubai, right? I want to be going to malls and just walking. I want to be with my children all the time, go with my son and watch him play, and be by the side of my daughter and do silly things and dance on TikTok or on Instagram. But I keep myself so busy that I hurt myself. I'm not kind to myself. I'm not kind to Joelle. I have a clinic. I haven't been to my clinic since 7 months. Since May last year. So yesterday, the clinic manager called me. She's like, Joelle, we think of sending you flowers and a card. It's just to invite you to Clinica.
Yeah.
And I know I need a lot of work. I need some Botox for my neck.
You don't need anything. You look great.
You
look great.
For maintenance, because we need to maintain, but I don't have the time. Yeah. So even though I have a clinic, look at my nails. There's a saying in Arabic, and I'm going to say it in Arabic, then I'll translate it in English. It's called Bib al-Najjar makhloua. The door of the carpenter is broken. So the carpenter
doesn't have time to fix his own door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But where does this passion come from? I think just wanting to prove that I can do great things, and maybe.
Who are you trying to prove it to?
I don't know. Also, like, honestly, I don't know. I do like people clapping.
You mentioned before that you feel you're quite hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Again, do you know why?
No.
Why you give yourself such a hard time?
I had an amazing childhood, but, and I hope my dad doesn't listen to this, but I think I wanted more praise when I was young. I used to be jealous of when my dad was praising like all the athletes during the Olympics, or my dad would praise young actors. I remember there's a movie called The Champ, and there was this young blonde actor that was just incredible. And my dad would praise him like, oh my God, شو هالactor هيدا. So whenever my dad would praise someone that was young for talent.
You were like, hello.
Yeah, but I never dared to say hello. And I had nothing to show. In Lebanon, I just went to school. Yeah. I had nothing for them to notice me.
So talk me through, the unnoticed Joelle, right? How did you start becoming noticed? What was the trigger that made you say, you know what, I'm just going to go from an ordinary, going to go to school life in Lebanon to, start the journey of superstardom? How did that start for you?
First of all, honestly, the older I'm getting, the more answers I get for questions that I have to myself. Yeah. Because I don't like fame. So I don't necessarily enjoy when people recognize me. And of course, my show had 120 million viewers for 17 years altogether.
Say, mashallah.
Mashallah, exactly. Because it's NBC One and it's got the highest reach. Even my show today, the reality show, Joelle Without a Filter, it's trended in Australia, Canada, US, New Zealand, Germany, Sweden, and the UK. So it's crazy. So these are Arabs that live in those countries.
You could pass for Swedish, so I understand that.
But I feel that the reason I do all of this is because I need to prove for me and for others. I always feel like I have a responsibility to show others that they can also do it. So when I was young, I remember when I was 8 years old, honestly, I'm telling you, I remember lying in my bed and thinking, I want to be like Mother Teresa. So I want to be someone that can change the world, someone that can do so much good that she can actually affect people. So I always thought, but how am I going to be that? So maybe one day I'll be famous, but why should I be famous? So I always felt like maybe one day I will have an impact on Earth. And then when I became famous, and I started to hate the fame, I was like, why I do this? Why can't I go back to just maybe being a makeup artist and running a salon? Because I don't enjoy that part of people looking. Then I thought, you know what? I'm inspiring so many girls, and the one thing I love, the outcome of what I do, is when young women come and say to me, I want to be strong like you. I hope my daughter grows up to be like you. I tell my daughter, come and watch Joelle. I want you to be like her. So on all the different levels, that appreciation of the achievement makes me want to achieve more. So the minute I tasted achievement, it made me addicted to more achievements. And the problem, let's say I made the #1 female show, it just wasn't enough anymore. I needed to do more. So then I started the salons. Oh, it wasn't enough that I had my own 5 salons in the UAE. I want to be in Saudi, in Qatar, abroad. When that finished, oh, what's next? Yeah, I'm working on a hair care line, but that's just not enough. Oh, let me open the clinica. Every time I feel I can create a brand, so I create a name and I make the brand happen and it's alive. I say I give birth to it the day I launch it. After a year, I need more. It's like someone that needs more children. Yeah. Even though the children
it's an addiction.
The children are a headache.
Yeah.
They are, of course, because we worry about them.
Yeah.
They're a responsibility. We work so hard at raising them, but why do we need more?
Do you think you're addicted to the success of it?
Yes, I think.
And because you're inspiring so many people, you feel like you have to inspire more people. And by inspiring more people, how do you do that? You need more success.
That makes me cry. So recently, after the podcast, I started this trend of asking people on Instagram twice a week, like, what did you listen or watch? Because it's on YouTube and it's podcast, my podcast. And I just sit there and I'm just overwhelmed with emotions and tears are flooding from the response that I'm getting. One of them I'm never going to forget all of my life. She said, Joelle, I don't have a mom. You're my internet mom.
Oh, wow.
I'm learning. Look, I get goose pimples. Yeah.
And do you see that as a huge responsibility? When you hear that, what do you think?
I see it as if someone has come and has given me a biggest hug, and it's like all the hard work is really worth it. So I'm no longer beating myself up, and I'm no longer allowing myself to feel any pain from all the hard work, because that word just made it all worthwhile.
Yeah. It fuels you, right?
It fuels me. I tell them, like, you charge my batteries. Amazing. So the good feedback really charges my batteries and keeps me going. I'm crying. I'm very emotional, by the way. I might be very passionate, but I'm very emotional.
That's okay.
Yeah, and when I'm tired, I cry a lot. So
the best people tend to be passionate. The best people tend to be emotional. So, you be you. It's absolutely fine.
But if I want to think, like, if I'm selfish, I think I wouldn't do any of the projects that I'm doing. Yeah. Today, I learned from my podcast, because I interview psychologists. So my podcast is different to yours. In my podcast, I learn. So I have psychologists and we talk about one topic. And then because I don't prepare, so I learn on the spot and I become the audience, because my questions are probably the same questions as what the audience would ask. And one of them, after we finished, she told me, you have blah, 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 whatever. Like, I can't remember what she defined me as. And I said, what's that? And she said, you have a huge level of empathy. And these are types of people that whenever there's anything happening with someone else, they automatically put themselves in their shoes. And I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly what I do. I put myself in the shoes of the ant. So I don't like to kill ants. I don't like to kill spiders. I'm like, haram, like, he's just, walking. Why did I just suddenly, I'm this giant, just stepped on him or killed him? Yeah. And these ants, poor ants, they're like collecting food for the winter. Why do I just need to go and kill them? Even I'm talking about the insects, but more towards people. So maybe sometimes you ask me a question, I can't give you a straight answer because I'm still asking myself.
Yeah, you're still trying to figure it out. Look, we're all trying to figure out.
Why do we do what we do?
No one has all the answers. It's just life just throws curveballs left, right, and center, and you've got to try and navigate them as best you can and figure out as you go along. And guess what? There's no manual. No one gives you a guide. Say, hey, this is how you handle life. No. This is how you handle success. This is how you handle being a great parent. We just have to figure it out.
I knew I will always be a good mom.
Yeah.
Even when I was 12, I used to take care of the neighbors' kids, but I never knew I'll be what I am today. Yeah. So I never imagined that, not even in my wildest dreams.
And you can't prepare for it.
No.
So speaking about being unprepared, I have with me a bag of balls. Okay. And in this bag, there are
How
topics.
Many balls?
There's quite a few of them. You haven't seen this, right?
No.
You have no idea what's in here.
No.
So these are topics.
I don't know what kind of balls.
Yeah,
either.
you're going to find out. You're going to find
Let's
out.
see.
So in here are some topics I think will be interesting to you. So why don't you pick one or even two or even three, and then we can see how it goes.
Do I pick one at a time?
Pick one at a time.
Blindly or
blindly?
Are they coloured?
No, they're not coloured.
Oh, they're not coloured.
No, just we're very simple here. We're very simple here. All right, what do we have?
Oh, makeup artist or TV star.
Yes.
So for sure TV star, because of the fame, I'm able to inspire women to be kinder to others, to be supportive of one another, showing people that even if you're a star, you still be a good mom, don't neglect your children, showing honesty, that honesty is so beautiful, no need to pretend no one had any surgery when you have done.
So being a TV star, TV host, it gives you that accessibility, right?
Yeah.
To be able to speak to many. Whereas
Yes.
doing
It gives me a voice.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
does it fit your personality more? Because you
No.
started off doing something else.
I started off as a makeup artist. My God, I struggled as a young makeup artist in the UK. You don't work in salons in the UK doing makeup. So you go from studying makeup artistry to suddenly trying to compete with the big guys and the big girls for jobs in TV, theater, photo shoots, fashion shows. So it's hard to build a portfolio. I worked for more than 2 years, absolutely for free.
Yeah.
With photographers and models that were starting out to have a portfolio, because who's going to book me if I didn't show them my work?
Correct.
There was no social media.
And you're learning your craft, right? At
Yeah.
the same time. So you
Yes.
need it to help prove, but you
Yeah.
also need to help learn and develop.
Yeah, experience. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very nice. Right, next ball.
Next
that was quick and
ball.
easy.
Yeah.
That was actually quite a nice one because it's a very easy one. There are some tougher ones in there.
Are there?
Yeah, what does this say?
Hard work or lady luck? Oh, I wish
Right,
lady luck.
so let me explain this, right? So what is more important in developing a career? Is it working extremely hard, right?
Of course.
Or do you need to have lady luck shining down on you to help you actually be successful? What is more important in your opinion? And don't sit on the fence here.
No, let me tell you.
Amazing.
I believe in God. So I'm someone who, I thank God every day. I don't forget that God is around. So I do no wrong. Yeah. This is part of also my character. I don't do wrong. I'm scared of punishment. I'm scared that God will punish me through my kids, through anything. So it's like God to me is like my dad.
Yeah.
I will never ever disrespect my dad. I will never ever do anything that will upset my dad. So I will never hit my brothers and sisters, which are the people. I will never stab someone in the back. I will never lie to anyone. So I am always aware of that. The other part, let's say God is my dad, okay? God, if my dad is rich and can give me anything that I want, like God can give us anything what we want, God is not going to give one of his children who's lazy, who's sitting on the couch. Yeah. So if God has all the money and he's going to choose which child he will give inheritance to, he's going to give the one who's trying so hard, wakes up in the morning till end of night, not making any money, struggling, but wanting success and being straight and with a vision. So I've always believed that it's definitely hard work and it's God paying me back every single time.
So you're leaning on hard work.
Hard work and no luck.
No luck. You don't believe.
To me, I find offensive the amount of work, the hard work that I do to think that it's luck. Yeah. Even coming to Dubai, and I knocked on NBC's door, but I was already for 2 years working for free for a magazine, doing exactly what I ended up doing on my show.
Yes.
So they saw that, my articles were bringing in advertisers.
Yeah.
So it was, let's try her. Let's do a pilot. And it worked. But if I just, I want to be on TV. I want to be a famous makeup artist. And at the time, I wanted to be a famous makeup artist, not a star. So I wanted to be on television, to be known for what I do, for being a makeup artist and someone that can transform people. Yeah. Not beyond that. My thought was not beyond that. Yeah.
I'm with you. So perseverance, hard work, and a focus. You need a strong focus on what you want to go and deliver.
Yes.
I've heard other people say that a very random conversation here and there helped guide them down a completely different path, and they attributed that conversation or that nudge to Lady Luck, and that's actually helped propel them. But in your case, it looks like you've made your own success without relying on anybody else.
Yeah.
That's how it
I
looks.
think that, and I believe, because I'm not going to go into it, but maybe in another podcast, because it's going to be long. I started working when I was 14 years old, as I went to school. And every time I realized I wanted more.
Can I ask what were you doing when you were 14?
I was doing babysitting. And then I never asked my dad for any money since I was 14. I used to really enjoy the money I was making. Yeah. And I remember looking forward to Saturday to go and spending it all or saving it to buy something more expensive. Yeah. So I started to know the value of money from such a young age. Yeah. And then at the age of 17, the YMCA approached me to teach me to become a fitness instructor. But the catch was, you will sign with us 1 year exclusivity because we're going to pay for you and teach you. And I was like, oh, no, I'm going to university. I can't be linked to them. Why don't I do it? And then I'm free to teach wherever I want. So I borrowed money from my aunt, Auntie Itala, I'm going to name her. And because I borrowed 2 times money from her to do projects that got me where I am today. And I remember I was making £35 an hour. Do you know that's like 25 years ago? More! Sorry, like, no, 30 years ago.
That's a lot of money per hour.
I was 17 years old.
It's a lot of money. A lot of money for a 17-year-old especially.
Yes.
Yeah,
when I went to uni, I had my own car.
That much money when
I had my
17.
own car and I had, the mobiles, the banana mobiles.
Yeah.
And everyone thought I was posh. I wasn't posh. I was just making money.
But you were grafting. Right from early. So if you think about it, you're working hard and kids, because you're babysitting, that's how it started. They go hand in hand right from a very early age. Interesting. Right, time for the next ball. You pick one, then I'll pick the next one.
Okay.
You like my bag of balls?
Okay, no, I grabbed. Okay, last it. I'm gonna grab this one.
Okay, what have we got?
Favorite childhood memory.
Look at that. I mean, what are the odds? I talk about you as a babysitter. So what is your...
Can I have more? Can I give you more than one?
You can give as many as you like.
So, crazy enough as it is, as much as I appreciate growing up in the UK, and it's what I feel the UK made me who I am today. So not Lebanon. In Lebanon, I never believed in myself. The school made me feel like an idiot, that I'm useless. The school system in Lebanon didn't suit me at all because I can't remember anything. I have a very bad memory, but they didn't pick up on any other skill that I had. But if I go back now to all the 47 years of my life, my best memories are in Lebanon. So I cherish my childhood.
Give me a memory.
Everything. So it's the sound of the waves going to my grandmother's house. It's the first rain, picking snails with my friends. It's running through the fields and stealing an orange from the tree and feeling as if I've stolen something big. But my friend made me do it, this one bad friend.
The friend made you do it.
Yeah. Honestly, she just like bullied me. It's like, pick it. Ah! And then I picked it. Going to the beach and fishing on the rocks alone for hours and hours and hours.
And you know what's love about it? All of your memories are around nature. They're nothing linked necessarily to technology.
Oh, no, nothing.
Or like, they're just the most simple but the most rewarding and lovely memories.
It's being with my cousins at the back of a car and waving at other cars and then like, getting shy and hiding. Yes, nice. I never played on the streets because I was always like a shy person, but
it's crazy. I mean, people who was watching this, who watch you, on TV, on your shows, when you say something like that, they're like, that can't be true. How can she be a shy person?
So, for example, if you had a party and you say, "Oh, Joelle, I like to come with your husband," I'd be so shy to come if you had a lot of people. But I'm very happy to come if it's just yourself and your wife. Yeah. So I'm much better when it's one-on-one. I think I've always been worried about being judged. Yeah. So I worry of what others think of me. Yeah. Always. Do they like me? Do they not like me? So I have to prove myself that I'm a nice person. Yeah. Like the very first minute of arriving. And I'm always smiley.
Yeah. And those negative comments, they hurt you?
Not when they come from social media. Okay. Those they don't hurt at all. They can say the worst thing.
But they might have done at the beginning, or have you just got used to it, or did it never bother you?
I don't remember anymore, honestly. I cannot, because I don't like to lie. So I don't remember. Maybe they did. Today, what hurts me, and I block people. Immediate block, like immediate. Yeah. If someone accuses me of lying. Yeah. So with my reality show, I was burgled in France 2 times.
Oh, no.
And we used the footage of the cameras as part of the show. And I told the story of, losing a lot of valuable things that meant, one of the things meant a lot to me. It was my engagement ring. Yeah. And so when people started writing, "Oh, you're lying," or "Oh, these are actors. I can tell they're actors." Someone said, "Ha ha ha! look at the thief, how he's walking. They thought this and that. So just block. That offends me when someone tells me I'm a liar.
I mean, if you're a thief, you've really picked the wrong house. Let's be honest. If there's cameras everywhere. But look, I hear you.
But they were not caught. And anyway,
that's crazy, right? So we're talking about childhood memories. Is there a way in which you want your kids to grow up with certain memories? I know, look, obviously you have a 21-year-old boy, so his son, so less so with him. But maybe with Ella, with Nathan, is there a certain type of memory or childhood memory that you want them to have?
One thing, my oldest son, which made me cry so much and it made me feel so happy, because I never knew, when kids, they become teenagers, they go through such a funny phase. And you feel like they hate you, they don't like you, they don't listen to you. And I never knew if he was happy. Like I was trying to provide the best life. Like we go to the Maldives 2-3 times a year. I take them ski every single year. And by the way, all my holidays with them is for them. So when I go on holiday, I enjoy their happiness. So I enjoy giving them an experience. So I don't choose cities like Paris or, London. If we go to London, we go to my family. So I take them to the farm. We go to the London History Museum. We go to the aquarium. We do sightseeing. I take them sightseeing. So my son, when Corona hit, he looked different. He changed. He was in so much distress. And then I just sat him down because I'm very visual with my children. And I'm like, Bailey, there's something wrong. So what is it? He's like, I can't sleep. So first it started, I can't sleep. So we started to suggest to him like herbal medicine that was natural to help him sleep, but he was still struggling. So I said, do you mind, Bailey, if you see a life coach? He said, yes. And I said, I want to ask you, if you allow me to be in your bedroom, I'll literally sit in the corner and I will not say anything. And he said yes. So my daughter as well, she did speak to a life coach, but she didn't accept for me to be in the room with her. Different personalities, and it's crazy. Ella was 11, was just last year. Bailey was already 17, and he accepted. Anyway, so I'll go in the room with Bailey, and apparently his problem was, why should I die? I'm so happy with my life. And oh my God, I remember I was crying so much, and I was so happy. It's the first time I knew how happy my son was. And he's like, I'm so happy with my life. Why should I disappear? Why should I just not exist anymore? And she explained to him that you have those thoughts because you used to go to school, used to hate going to school, used to hate certain like subjects, to see certain people, maybe certain teachers, and now your mind is free and it's taking you to places that it shouldn't at your age. But listening to my son saying he's so happy was maybe the biggest prize for me, bigger than anything that I might get from work.
Amazing.
So still when I put them next to each other, as much as I work hard for my business, the satisfaction from the business is very short-lived for me. It's like during the launch and maybe a couple of weeks after the launch. And after that, nothing. But with my children, so that one word out of him,
it meant the world to you.
Yeah, it meant the world to me.
Amazing. Do you want to pass me the bag?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what I'm going to get next. Okay. You like this?
I love it.
Nice, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
This is one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
So this says Queen of Hearts or Queen of Diamonds.
No, Queen of Hearts, of course.
So what do I mean by this? So
look.
So what I mean is
nothing.
From a Queen of Hearts, is it more important to you to be, and I think I know the answer, but to be a good person, to be an empathetic person, or is it more important to deliver success, to be able to provide for your family and to be able to have all of the joys, being able to go to the trips that you mentioned, and that's really where it comes from. So is it better to be a good person, or is it better to be, or is it more important to be successful and provide, I guess?
No, I'm very ethical. So I'm someone that, like I told you, even the brands that were paying me to support them, I treated them like they were my own. And I was just paid some amount, like a certain amount, not to the dedication that I gave them. I gave them 10 times what was agreed in the contract. So for me, I think the most important, apart from being a good mom, if I want to choose a second title, it would not be worldwide famous entrepreneur. It will be the Queen of Hearts, because I feel like with my kindness, I want to change the world. And I'm very down to earth, but I know what I've done in the region so far. When I first came here, as presenters, we used to stand next to each other and they wouldn't even look to say hello. And I always felt like, it's okay, I can say hello. Yeah. It's like, hi, how are you? And proving to them that I'm kind and I'm nice and you look amazing and you look great. And sometimes I felt, can I swear? Can I swear? I felt like shit sometimes because they made me feel like shit. They made me feel like as if I was being a hypocrite, but I really wasn't. I really was saying amazing things about them. They've made me feel like as if I was sucking up to them, but I wanted to show that I was being so nice. And I see a big difference since I started doing that. And when social media came and tagging them and saying great things about them, and I feel like I have participated in that change. And that change that we have in the region of that kindness, of that women empowerment. And I always say, it's not enough to say women empowerment. What are we all doing? Are we doing anything about women empowerment? Are we empowering each other? Are we really raising the flag for one another? 90% of the content, the branded content on my social media is for free. 90%. I don't see anyone doing that. You name me one other celebrity or an influencer, someone with above 1 million, that actually takes time to film presents, cakes, biscuits, a cap, a towel, a abaya, a toy for a child.
Look, it's clear you have a huge heart. On this, do you have a wish for your kids? I mean, are they like you at the moment? Are they?
I don't want them to be like me.
You don't want them to. No, why is that? Because
I don't want them to.
But you said you want to be seen as a good person. You want to be seen as a good role model.
I want them to be good people for sure. Yeah. But I don't want them to work as hard as I do. I want them to enjoy life more. Like my mom. Yesterday we had that conversation. I was with someone from Al Arabiya. He's a presenter. He's been with Al Arabiya for 20 years. And he's like, oh, well done. My mom said, no, but I'm not happy. He's like, why? You should be proud of her. She said, yeah, I don't care about being proud of her, but she's not living her life. This is her prime. Yeah. She should be living her life. And I understand, because I understand my mom. Because if that was Ella, I don't want my daughter to be working so hard. I want her to enjoy.
So that'll be the Princess of Hearts.
Yeah.
Amazing. Very nice.
For my daughter.
For your daughter, yeah, absolutely. Right, time for another ball?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're going to do 2 more, right? I'll do 1, you do 1. Very simple. This asks, what makes you happy?
Oh, my children and nature. You can throw me on an island.
I'm going to throw this to you.
Yes. You can put me, and I'll take my sister-in-law with me as well. You can put me on an island with absolutely nobody, no one, no events, no high heels. As much as I love fashion, but it's not what makes me happy. So my children, my family means a lot to me. I'm a family person. And nature. So I love nature. I love the beach and I love the mountains. So I love the sea and I love the trees. And I love gardening and I love plants, and just put me in nature, and leave me and forget me.
Well, I got you a tree. It's about as good as I could do right now.
They're gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Time for you to pick out the.
Oh, really?
Time for you to pick out the last one, I think.
Okay, let me see which one of these. Okay. Okay, this one. Oh,
so what does it say?
Work-life balance or finding peace?
Okay, so what do I mean that? What is more important to you? Because you said right at the beginning of the show, you work crazy hours, you're non-stop. So getting that work-life balance, is that important to you, or is it more important for you to find that sort of peace inside?
Okay, so I should answer and say, of course, peace on the inside. That should be the normal answer.
It's whatever you feel the most.
That should be my answer.
It should be, but it's not.
It should be my priority.
But it's not.
No, of course. My priority should be that I should be, balanced.
Yeah.
But of course I'm not balanced, especially in season 2 of my show. After we had finished, I was super mentally scarred because of the pressure I put on myself during those 2.5 months. So I had 25 staff and crew in my house, in my kitchen, in my bathroom, in my bedroom, in my living room, from the moment I opened my eyes till I went to sleep. So I had no escapism. Can you imagine that?
I can't,
but honestly, can you imagine? I even had lights fitted in my ceiling permanently for 2.5 months. But not only that, I was changing outfits minimum 7 times a day.
What?
Yes.
What?
And it was have you seen the movie?
I don't even know if I have 7 outfits.
Have you seen Groundhog Day?
I have.
You
Bill
have?
Murray, yeah, great movie.
Every day I wake up and my producer is at the bottom of the bed. She's like, come on, Joelle. Come on, wakey. And then it's like, oh my God, again.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted to share my life with my audience, to see a celebrity who's a mom, who's an entrepreneur, what life is truly like.
Uncensored.
Uncensored completely, like fly on the wall.
Zero filter.
My dream was fly on the wall style. The real reality.
Yeah.
But to give that reality, it tore me apart. And it took me all of the whole summer till maybe the last week to feel peace. And now I did it to myself again since January till last week.
Yeah.
So it was the launch of the show, it was the launch of the podcast, and the launch of my son's brand, Dabdoob, all in one time.
Yeah. So, which one is it?
I want peace.
You want the peace. So why is this? Why do you want the peace? What? Again, I'm getting the sense
Because I'm a
with
simple
you.
person.
But Joelle, I'm getting from you are. But I'm getting the sense that you are someone who generally does so much for everybody else. You love to please, make everyone else happy. But what about yourself? And it's at what expense does you trying to make everyone else happy hurt you, right? Because it's great to look after your kids. It's great to want the best for them. It's great to build this fantastic career where you can help and inspire other women. But at the end of the day, it's just going to be you, right? You're the one who goes to bed. You close your eyes and you're on your own thoughts. So, are you doing the right thing for you?
I don't know. But it's just like, it cannot be done any other way. That's the problem. So when people say to me, wow, like Clinica, Maison de Joelle Paris, candid, Dabdoob, now, the podcast, the reality show. How do you do it? Oh, I do it because I put myself last down the list. My husband told me just a few days ago, and I said, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I said, I'm just looking forward for the holiday. And he said, and it's so true, he said, stop living just for the holiday. Yeah. So I feel like all I do to be able to last, I keep on promising myself, like how, be a good boy, tidy up your room every day, and at the end of the month, I'm going to get you a toy. And I, by myself...
Do it yourself.
I buy myself those toys, which is the relaxation. But I need to enjoy every day.
You need that treat in advance to look forward to keep you going. But it's depleting. I mean, you're giving so much all the time to so many different people.
I'm trying to.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, 24 hours. It's incessant. How do you find that peace? How do you find that calm inside and go, you know what? It's okay.
Maybe I went to my couple therapist for one session, and unfortunately, I didn't find the time to go again. But I just went to her with a lot of confusion, and I want to know, who am I? Yeah. I want someone from the outside to explain it to me, because I'm confused. Because I'm the Joelle that likes to just hang out with my sister-in-law. That's the world to me. Yeah. I just sit and chat and have some coffee and tea. And I want to be with my children, and I want to enjoy just walking down anywhere. Just let me go out and walk, enjoy nature and the sound of the birds. But then I'm doing the opposite of what I like.
So why? Why do you do what you do?
I don't know. I told you at the very beginning, I'm still, I don't have the answers.
Yeah.
So I also said one thing. When someone tells me, you've changed my life, that drives me to give up my freedom, my happiness, my peace for them.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know them, I've never seen them. They're just written to me.
Yeah.
They've written to me, you are my internet mom. I don't have a mom. You're my mom.
But their happiness or whatever they're feeling fills a hole. It fills something for you. It keeps you going. Right?
Yeah.
Look, like I say, we don't have all the answers. We're all trying to figure it out. But for people who are watching you, they look at you and go, "Wow, she is incredible as a person, as a mom, as a celebrity, whatever you want to call it." And they were like, "I want to be just like her." People are saying, "I want to be just like."
I hate when people say that.
And here's the thing. And so
because
please elaborate.
Say I'm not special. Okay, you can be, but if you put as much hard work as I do. So if you're going to give up all your spare time, every awake moment, you fill it with work. Your agenda is full for 16 hours. You cannot rest. You cannot rest. Even I eat whilst I'm having my hair done. Or I always show people I eat food that should be hot. I eat it cold, like a cold burger that has come out from the fridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've all been
driving,
there. We've all been there.
I'm driving.
Okay, I haven't done that. Yeah.
That's my life.
Okay, question I've been wanting to ask you. Do you do your own makeup now?
No, not anymore because I'm working. I
And
cannot afford to stare 1 hour in the mirror.
But you can imagine the person, you'd have to name who they are, but imagine that person, they're doing the makeup for you, right?
They were all nervous at the beginning.
They must be freaking out. I'm doing the makeup for Joelle. This is crazy. I've always wondered about that.
They are. But I want to go back to one thing, because when people are going to listen to me, they're not going to understand why I'm complaining, or maybe or I'm going deep into the non-peace part of my life that I dedicate to my work. But even if we look at tennis players, I watched a documentary on tennis players, and they go through hell. But again, we ask them, why did they do it? What's the trophy? What does it mean so much to them?
Yeah.
Why? Tennis drives them insane. Apparently, it's a very, very, very lonely.
I was going to tell you.
Very lonely career.
It's one of the very few sports where you can make that successful, but you're on tour all the time, alone.
Not just on tour, alone.
In your room.
You're a solo. But again, so why do they do it? So if they can control their feelings properly, would they continue? Yeah. So obviously some things in us we cannot control. Yeah. So there's a drive. I always say there's a drive I'm not in control of. I can say what I like, what I don't like. Yeah. But there's a motor. It's running on its own.
So what comes next for you?
I hope no more. Honestly, my sister-in-law today, she said, why don't you do this eyebrow gel? I was like, listen, no more. But it's so tempting for me to build brands. Yeah. It's so tempting. I think I enjoy building brands. Maybe I should open a company that builds brands for other people. Let them bring the money, and then I'll build it for them. And then it can just go off. After that, I don't want I don't want to know about the
all right, so
day to day.
So let's because I work in the same industry. How would you describe yourself as a brand?
I always say I'm a women empowering brand. Really, because even from day one, my show was about empowering women. Literally, I did 400 transformations, 400 women. So a woman would come to me at the beginning of the show, and she'd be like, oh my God, I'm so scared. My husband is threatening he's gonna marry another one. Yeah. I'm fatter, I'm whatever, blah, blah, blah. She reaches the end. We hide all the mirrors. We put all her old pictures so she has a memory of exactly what she looked like before her veneers and before her surgeries and before everything else. And then we show her videos of when she first came on the show and what she was saying. Oh, I'm scared my husband's going to leave me if I don't make a change. And then we take her, we hold her hand and we take her into the studio. And when the time is right, it's like, okay, whenever you want, just look in the mirror and tell me what you see. And every single one should go like, oh, I'm a star. Or, oh, I'm a queen. That is to make my tears run like a river, down my face. Not because, I did such a great makeup job, because I've changed someone's life. Yeah. I was so aware of changing people's lives. So all my businesses were honestly the passion. You say, where do you get the passion? To change women's life. Yeah. So when I did the clinic, I wanted everything under one roof. I wanted good service, good doctors that were not materialistic, that will never do something bad for someone just because for the money. When it came to eye candy, I want the best quality lenses. You know, I don't think I still make money from eye candy till now. Honestly, I spend so much on eye candy, on the packaging and on, but I can't produce anything bad.
Yeah.
It's not
who you are. It's not who you are.
No, I need to be proud of my product.
Yeah.
You know, of the end result.
Joelle, you're honestly, you're inspirational.
Thank you.
And not just for women.
Thank
so
you.
Please don't just rule out the men, because
you.
men can also feel very inspired by
you.
what you're saying and what you're doing. I really want to say thank you to you having joined me on the show today, but also to opening up. You're a good person.
Thank
and I
you.
think if nothing else, from what I've learned about you, that's what matters most. So
yeah.
So thank you for being a wonderful
Thank you.
person. And next time I won't introduce you as a host or TV host or an entrepreneur. I'll just introduce you as a fantastic mum and a great lady. So thank you very
so
much.
much. Thank you. Thank
Cheers.
you, Luca.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.